Let's look at the determinants of long-run aggregate supply, and this shouldn't take long because there is only one reason why long-run aggregate supply would shift, and we said that before, and let me broaden it up and make it bold. It's when, so a shift in long-run aggregate supply occurs when there's a change in the quantity and quality of factors of production. What are the factors of production that we have in an economy? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurs. So let's first think of the quality. When do the quality of factors of production change? When there is any change in the productivity or the technology that affects the ability of goods and services to produce goods and services, ability of factors to produce goods and services. So this comes from productivity and technological advances, and that's why we say that research and development is a supply side policy, because it affects the quantity. Now let's focus now on the quantity. What are the factors that may affect the quantity of land? Is the discovery of new oil wells, discovery of new natural resources, is the reclamation of land, the farming of the desert. All of this increases the quantity of land, and also any productivity changes increases the quality of land. So any machinery used in agriculture, so any technological use in land, in any extraction of natural resources. What about labor? Let me use a different color for that. What would affect the quantity and quality of labor? Quantity of labor may come from immigrants, may come from population rise even over time. And what would affect the quality of labor? So this is the quantity. What would affect the quality of labor? Quality of labor would be affected by education and would be affected by healthcare. And that's why we say that, again, education and healthcare is a supply side policy, productivity and research and development supply side policy. Okay, now what about, okay, you wouldn't get that unless you saw the Oscars. Capital. What are capital? Don't confuse capital with the business definition. Capital are man-made goods used in production. So they are goods, physical capital, they are goods used in production. So what would increase capital? Any increase in investment would increase capital. Any increase in government investment would increase capital. Any increase in infrastructure. What is infrastructure? Physical capital. So let me define this here. Physical capital on a large scale that is essential for the economic activity of an economy, such as, what would be an example of infrastructure? Roads, water systems, electricity. Okay, so this is again, the quantity of capital is affected by this, and the quality is affected by the technological advances. And the research and development. And entrepreneurs are the same as, considered the same as labor, unless there's a supply side policy that increases the incentive. So if there's a government incentive, especially market-based supply side policies, which offers less regulations for opening up of businesses, then this would incentivize businessmen to open up new firms. And how do the improvement of any of these reflected on the neoclassical aggregate demand, aggregate supply? Well, if we have an equilibrium at full employment, and there is an increase or improvement in any of these factors, which is in terms of any increase in the quantity or quality of factors of production, then this would cause the long-run aggregate supply to shift to the right, and the full employment, which is sometimes referred to as potential output in the economy, would rise. And this in and of itself is economic growth. So even though the equilibrium actual output, which is the point of intersection of short-term aggregate supply and aggregate demand, is the same, but the increase in potential output in and of itself represents economic growth. Okay, and see you next class. Bye.